Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Velas here in San Diego, California. It's a hard life, Paul, isn't it?
It is a hard life, mate, yeah. I see your tan is doing as well as mine.
I was going to say, I am so pale anyway.
Yeah.
Come out here and I thought, you know what, little bit of March sun, early doors in March. No, just still pale, yeah. It's not really working. It's going to be sunbeds when I get home.
Yeah, we walked, so there's like a shopping centre, so we kind of took a stroll down there. And we got in on Saturday, actually, just with the time difference, and walked along the freeway. See, freeway, motorway, I'm trying to get into terminology. Oh, yeah, wanker. Trying to get into terminology. But we walked along the motorway, and it was roasting. So, like, there's not a cloud in the sky. And we got absolutely, like, I got quite burnt. Skye caught the sun a bit. Eddie Lamb was cool. And I got back, FaceTimed my missus, and she's like, "Oh, dear, you definitely caught the sun today, haven't you? Like, you're looking a bit on the crispy side." So, yeah.
Just because she's Australian, you're not.
No.
Just because you're Team Nicholson this week, you have to remember that you are.
I'm human, exactly. Look, I'm rocking a hoodie today. We're going to go back to the rain as well, mate. So we'll just, slip back into normality.
When Eddie said that she could make her professional debut in San Diego, there's a little fist pump in there and there. Yes, get in.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I think the plan always was when we had the conversation with Eddie was that she's got the profile and the ability and the look with her amateur background. To box in the trio. She trains in the UK, box in the UK, box back home, but Eddie was keen for her to fight over here, and so were we. So yeah, mate, look, it's a lovely, like you say, lovely card to go on. Main event's brilliant. There's a lot of 50-50 fights in the undercard as well, so now looking forward to getting Skye's out of the way, good win, and can enjoy the rest of the show.
Is it kind of a nervy time, and perhaps the nerviest time you'll have until she steps up to one of her bigger fights, because although I know you and the team believe in her, it's one of them, just until it kicks off, you just never know, do you?
Of course, and you always kind of have that thing where you think, right, okay, first shot, when she takes her first shot, but look, she's had 150 amateur fights. The amount of people that have said to me, they're like, God, her legs are massive. She's a well-built woman, if you won't mind me saying that. It's probably the only context you can get away with saying that in. But no, she looks like an athlete. Incredibly fit. I've seen her spar a lot this camp, and she sparred some very, very talented current pro fighters, and I've been very happy with what I've seen. She found a local girl in Jessica Jerez, 3-0. So now I'm excited to see what Skye can do. Look, we didn't want to kind of have her fight someone with a negative record that's just going to come and survive. Don't think she gets anything out of that, but no, I think she'll put on a very good performance. I'm very happy with this style that we've got on Saturday night.
When I spoke to her, she was on about fighting in the UK, in the US, and eventually in Australia as well, trying to build that profile. And I said to her, I was like, what's the response been like since you signed with DAZN? And she said that everything you seem to be doing, be it when she went on the DAZN broadcast, Instagram posts and everything, there's just so much love being shown already. And she hasn't even thrown a punch. No. So you can see that already there's direction there, isn't there?
No, definitely. Look, her and I joke, and I think people will be surprised that she can fight. I mean, there's people like, she's become a bit of a social media sensation on Twitter with the Chris Lloyd stuff, and anytime she puts a picture up, the comment section's disgusting. And she laughs it off. She's got a good personality. She doesn't take anything to heart. She's not easily offended, which is quite rare. But she takes it all in her stride, and look, everyone will see on Saturday night she can really fight, and she's going to be a problem in this division. Look, there's some really, really good weight class. Obviously, Amanda Serrano's got a couple of belts at the minute. She's fighting Katie, but no, I think next year, towards the end of next year, you'll see Skye challenge for a world title.
Yeah, I asked her obviously because I think we said this in an interview we done last year. Because of the gap between the top of the female divisions and the bottom, and especially with someone like her amateur background, people are probably going to expect that she fights for a world title. I said, I'm not going to say how long, give me when you think. And she said, 2023. I didn't really ask about any of the belt holders because she hasn't got her debut out of the way, and you don't want to start mentioning people like Serrano and whatnot. But people will expect that, look, gets her debut out of the way, looks good, has a couple more, and will expect that she will fight for a world title next year. Yeah,
definitely. I think that's the plan. The plan is to have sort of three fights quite close together. So she'll have this. She could end up fighting the end of this month in Leeds. That has been mentioned, but we'll just sort of see how that tees up, or whether she goes early April. Desperately trying to get on that Amanda Serrano-Katie card as well, and then she'll go back home, have a decent break, and then she'll come back and have 3 fights, which will be again probably she might have one in, I don't know, Vegas say or New York again. Certainly have another fight in the UK, and then hopefully get one back in Australia if Eddie can do Cambosis or he does something else. So it'll be an active first year as a pro, and then she's rolling into next year.
Yeah, look forward to seeing Skye make her professional debut, like you said, on a really good card with such a good main event, such a sick main event. Let's talk about Kevin. Yeah. We were speaking yesterday, and you said there was a bit of trouble. You were, well, I say struggling to match him. He was matched, and then he was matching against Hassan and Dam, a name that people in the UK will know. But what was it? He started ringing people about and saying, "Do you know Kevin?" And they said, "Yeah, he's quite good." And he went, "I'm going to want more money."
Yeah. So we had Hassan and Dam was in, locked, confirmed. We'd confirm it. Took Matchroom in a position to to obviously announce the fight. Believe his team asked for a bit more money. Now I don't think he's priced himself out because he's afraid of Kevin, because of the level of people he's been in with. We're not kind of naive from that perspective. But what you get with a lot of older fighters that are kind of coming towards the end of their career, in the sort of autumn of their career, their purses have been good. They suffer a defeat. So he lost to I think an Uzbekistani chap on a top ranked show last year. So he would have been quite well paid for that. And then obviously coming off a defeat, his expectations to fight, albeit a red hot prospect, were different to Matchroom's. I know the figure. I'm not gonna say it, but I kind of do get their stance on it, coming from a matchmaking background. So it's a shame. And then just we've rung around. It's, for me, the style's important. I don't want him to fight a negative fighter that's just going to run and not engage. Look, he's co-main, so again, give you a little exclusive there. So he is matched now. It'll be announced tomorrow. And yeah, look, I'm really excited to get it out there. It's been a frustrating period for him, but look, fair play to him. He's left it in my hands, and I've promised him I'm going to deliver. And we've got it done, and I think it's probably helped me being out here, because every time I've seen Eddie, I'm like, "Eddie, what's going on? What's going on?" And he's like, "Fuck's sake!" So
just fuck off, Paul,
just
please.
Fuck off, Paul. Basically, yeah, I thought I got rid of you, but no, I've been pestering him, and it has helped Kevin's cause. So it's been quite nice, because send him a voice note, he's in bed, and then I wake up and we're keeping in touch from that way. But no, all done now. Touch wood.
You say about the time zone. This is the first time I've been this side of America. It's weird, and 8 hours. Like, even just trying to schedule videos is kind of annoying. So just going back and forth with people, so I know what you mean. Anyway, what I was going to ask, Callum Smith, of course. We saw Dimitri Bivol at the press conference yesterday, and we know Callum now fighting a light heavyweight, and it just sort of made me think 175 where Callum is now. I suppose Canelo Bivol fight does play some sort of role in the future of Callum Smith.
In the landscape, yeah, definitely. And I think, look, you've got a lot of fighters now. I mean, look, there is a bit of a domino effect now. Canelo's matched up with Bivol. Boatsi Richards, I'm hearing, is close to being done. It's a brilliant fight. I'll certainly be there for that. I'm really looking forward to that. And then I think Callum, again, I've said it before a few times, it's not in a derogatory way to anyone else. For me, he's above the domestic guys at the moment. He's proven. So I think it's just about, Callum wants to be a two-weight world champion this year. So we're having dialogue with Eddie, and just waiting to see what opportunities they can come up with. Want to get Callum back out sort of May time. So yeah, it's over to Matchroom really.
Could Callum be caught in the Canelo mix again? Obviously, look, we know Canelo's got that power to pick and choose what he does. We know there's potentially a third fight on the deal with this, be it John Ryder in London, Makabu in Guadalajara, or wherever. But we know he's chasing belts and legacy, and it wouldn't surprise anyone if he tries to pick another belt up and then tries to become undisputed at 175. So actually, Canelo making the choice to pick Dimitri Bivol has like a massive effect really on Callum, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course it does. And I think, look, I'd imagine that the Boatsi Richards winner will probably become mandatory for the WBA. I think they're both pretty high. Callum's quite high as well. But I think logically that would be something that, if I was still at Matchroom, I'd be pushing that. That's, and if I was part of either team, you'd be wanting that conversation. So yeah, unfortunately Callum is a little bit sort of, out of the mix for that. Joe Smith, but Turbiev, is that going to happen? We're kind of waiting to hear on that. I mean, it's kind of still a bit up in the air. So, I think, look, just a good fight for Callum next, and certainly push for a world title towards the end of this year as a plan.
And I mentioned Canelo, obviously. You guys went to the press conference yesterday. Skye got a picture of him. Eddie Lamb got a cheeky little picture of him. It's just cool.
That's his name now. Lambo, yeah. We're calling him Lambo.
We are going to do an IFL Lambo exclusive letter, because now he feels like he's part of Canelo team as well. So his head's so big he can barely fit through the door. But just being around, and I suppose for Skye as well, seeing that, but being around Canelo, it's the first time I've been around him, and it's hard not to be like a bit of a fanboy, because I don't know, everything he does just exudes like what a professional boxer should be.
Yeah, of course. And look, he's the very top of the tree. I think someone's like, you've got the money that he's earning reportedly out of this new 2/3 fight deal with Matchroom and DAZN's astronomical, and fair play to him that he's not ducked anyone. He's gone in and he's beat some very, very good fighters. His activity last year was ridiculous. Like, you think he'd done Callum, Yildirim, Billy Joe, Plant, and now he's back out. So, you have to kind of tilt your hat.
In under a calendar year. Yeah, 11 months.
Yeah, 11 months. It's ridiculous. And look, he's a cool bastard. Did you see the Bugatti? He was pushing yesterday. Yeah, fair play to him.
I heard that was the first type of that Bugatti they released in the US, and they gave it to him especially. £3 million worth of car.
Why would you not? Yeah, I mean, mate, I've got to be honest, you'd be terrified of your missus driving that, going to Sainsbury's or whatever their equivalent is over here, just dinking it on a curb. You'd be petrified. But no, fair, big fan of Canelo, brilliant fighter, and yeah, I wish him well against Bivol.
Just one more thing, because I feel like I've got to get everyone's take on this. Dillian Whyte not turning up to the press conference. You've had so many different roles.
Sandy Farias.
Oh yeah, Sandy Farias. Yeah.
Are you doing Nottingham? Because she'll beat you. She'll be like, why didn't you?
I'm not. Joe, I'm not doing Nottingham.
Right,
so
okay, yeah.
thank God, Sandy Ryan. I apologise, but I won't be in Nottingham. So you have to punch me next time.
What do you think of that fight, Erica Farias, Sandy?
I think that's a great fight. I think, from not just the perspective of being a good opponent for Sandy at this stage of her career, but being an actual entertaining fight as well. Because sometimes I think opponents, and obviously, like you said, you're from a matchmaking background, you can look at an opponent who might look good on someone's record and be good for that stage, but the fight's not all that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think the styles gel well. She's game, she's tough. Obviously, she gave Michaela a really good fight. I think Sandy's just a special fighter, and I think next week she'll show what we've seen. She sparred Clarissa Shields. I wasn't there for that because I was elsewhere, but I've seen footage of it, and she done very well. I mean, look, I think Clarissa's good, and she sparred Savannah as well. So for me, they're arguably, the two biggest, and certainly pound for pound, two of the best female fighters. And I'm not going to say Sandy, but Sandy held her own and hung in there with those two. So I've got a lot of faith in what she can do next week.
Obviously, this would be talking through her, but from sparring the both, you must have asked her who she thinks going to win. She probably has said this to someone, but I can't recall her answer.
Tweeted that she, to be fair to her, she's always said Shields. Like, I remember, and that's her and.
Actually, I remember because someone said, "Why don't you back Savannah? She's English," and she said, "This is just genuinely my opinion."
Sandy's one of those people where she's not going to say, "I think you're going to win," and then privately she's saying something, or she's telling other people. She would say, if she saw Sav, she'd say, "Look, Sav, no hard feelings. I'm picking Clarissa." And she's been in with both, and I think that's kind of cemented her belief even more that Clarissa wins that fight. So she knows better than anyone.
Look forward to seeing her next week. Now, like I said, I've got to ask you about Dillian not turning up to the London press conference. Just kind of, I suppose, your take on the whole situation. We kind of didn't expect him to turn up, and I know a few people still acted shocked that he didn't, but just your take on Dillian's no-show.
I think, look, you can look at it from two sides. I think from I'm going to sit on the fence massively here, by the way, but from a promotional perspective, of course, there's disappointment, and that you feel that the fight is obligated to go. But knowing Dillian as I do, I wouldn't say we're close. I don't have his number, but knowing him and being around him well enough, there's been something that has pissed him off for him not to have gone. I don't think it's like a mind game type thing by him. It could be. Look, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not close enough to him, but it's a shame that I love that fight. I think it's a brilliant fight between two of the biggest personalities. Zero fucks given between either of them. I think they can both, really fight in different ways. It would catch fire at some stage. Tyson and him will just end up brawling. You could see both maybe going down. It's going to be a dramatic fight. And yeah, look, of course, the press conference makes it real. I do think it's going to happen. I know some people that don't think it will. But yeah, I think, look, as a boxing fan and someone that's not involved with the fight, I think it's a shame he wasn't there. But he must have had his own reasons, and I respect that.
You say you think it's going to happen, and I'm a little bit of a boxing cynic, but from working in boxing for how long you have, are you a boxing cynic at times? Are you one of them people who, until you actually see them step in the ring, even at the weigh-in, you're just like, nope, until they step in the ring, I'm just never sure.
I think Brooke Khan last week was the most, or the other week was the most recent one, because, again, like you just working in the sport, I was hearing so much stuff from broadcasters, from people around the teams, of the issues, and you're just like, surely... I'm still not, even after the rules meeting and all that, if they even had one, a glove selection, which perhaps they didn't, but I just thought we're going to get to a point. But when you saw them both in the ring and they're opposite each other, I was like, wow. I was actually, I went out for a bit of food, I probably would have gone up to And I said to my missus, like, right, I'm in the car, we're getting back for that. And yeah, I was just literally just sat there, and you just couldn't believe that those two were opposite each other. But yeah, I think, look, until it's quite often not the fighters, it's the teams, isn't it? That you know these things are kind of like the issues are caused and stuff. So no, fingers crossed it happens. I think it's a brilliant fight, and look, Dillian's waited an eternity for his opportunity, and I don't like. Again, he's a type I don't think he's going to duck Tyson. I think he's going to take the fight. Who have you got?
Really? Really? I'm going to end that interview now. Cut. Paul, cheers.
Thank you, mate. Take care.